Hey guys, Aaron from the Ballpit here, your host for today's podcast with my co-host James. Say hello, James.
Hello, James.
All right, so
That joke never gets old.
yeah, definitely not. Never getting old.
Eh,
All right, so
womp.
as everybody can see, the map is a little Christmassy.
Yeah, we got snow and some ornaments,
Exactly. So, James, are you excited for Christmas?
Oh, I love Christmas.
You love Christmas. What do you want to get this year?
So, I am in the market for some clothing, actually.
Okay. Do you
I'm trying
know
to
what
upgrade
you
my-
want, or do you need my help with that?
I sent my mom a few things, but
Okay.
I'm always up
Off
for
of
options.
Grailed, or
No, it's like a streetwear clothing site that I found that like
okay, off Instagram.
I don't remember how I found them. I think I was just Googling.
Okay.
I guess send you the link later.
Yeah.
They
do
got
that.
some cool stuff.
Okay.
And like I'm mostly in for like the t-shirts and like because it's like kind of like the retro graphic tees that like there's like a Looney Tunes shirt that looks kinda
Oh
cool.
yeah. Of course.
But I also willing to expand my style, see what. So I hope my mom like gets this.
Yeah,
on the
you
list
do
and not, like,
desperately
some-
need to expand your style, so
Yeah.
it's getting bad.
Well, I mean, when I come to your house, I'm just wearing like sweatpants and a shirt.
The
every
same
time,
thing
and
every time.
I'm not attempting to, but whenever I actually go out,
Yeah.
I don't just sweatpants and shirt it up.
Yeah. Sometimes you sweatpants and hoodie it up.
Yeah. or hoodie plus windbreaker.
Ooh.
Oh, what a combo.
What a lady
You know,
killer.
late- I'm kind of like a magnet of the chicks.
My
I'm gonna say
Christmas
a
list
chick
this
magnet.
year is a little weird.
Okay.
So I put a mic on there. That's like my big present is a microphone, like a better one. So obviously my voice can sound crisper coming through the mic.
Yes, sir.
But I also put on there books about Egyptian mythology. Because I've been weirdly obsessed with Egyptian mythology as of late. Like like the ADHD fixation kind of thing that happens.
Oh yeah.
That's what's like happening, but with like Egyptian mythology.
I think you're actually just secretly being indoctrinated into an Egyptian cult, and you just don't want me to know.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
what it sounds like.
So I have some books about Egyptian mythology. I've always been interested in mythology in general, like no matter the region. So now it's just kind of like I've narrowed it down to start with Egypt, I guess, because I already have a lot of stuff on Greek mythology, so I'm not too worried about that. But
Right.
starting with Egypt. So yeah, and I also have some Switch games.
Oh yeah. I asked for the Mario Party Superstars.
Oh yes.
Yeah. I was like, I put on like the idea of like, oh, also because I'm gonna be going into an apartment, maybe some
Oh,
apartment
yeah.
stuff, but I didn't have like any specifics, like just like decorations, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
Does that count as Christmas? I guess kind of.
I mean, if you ask for it and you get it as a Christmas present, then like yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's mainly what my list is. I do have my eternal clothing list. Like I always have a clothing list, which is like separate from my main list. But I don't have anything like too crazy on there. Like nothing that I'm like freaking out like I need that.
Yeah, same. I'm at the point like. So the one big thing I asked for was this drawing tablet that I could connect to my computer via display tablet. So basically, I'd be drawing on the screen like I do with my iPad, but I'd be using like Photoshop and like other drawing software on my computer.
Got it. Okay.
And I asked for it, but I'm like, I don't need this, Mom. It's just like something that could help at college, so that if I don't want to use my iPad for it, whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry, I was purchasing a farmer, so it's just a little broken. But yeah, so that was like the biggest, most expensive thing I asked for, and it wasn't even like a Mom, I need this. Like whenever the Wii came out in like elementary school, and I was like, Mom, if I don't get the Wii, I'm gonna jump off a bridge. So I just like the spirit of Christmas more now
Than like receiving presents or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
feel
I like
that.
receiving presents in the sense of like somebody went out of their way to get something that they thought I would like, but not
Yeah.
in the sense of like, oh my god, I got new material. What like my favorite kinds of presents are like the like kid draws like a photo of like your grandma or something, and like oh my grandma's been dead for 10 years, I miss her so much, or something like those like wholesome
Yeah.
happy
And like
presents, you know.
obviously like presents can be cool if they're like if they're bought, like it's not like they have to be made, you know what I'm saying? Or anything like
Right.
that. But like I would rather it be a cheaper present with more thought put into it than like a super expensive material present that's just kind of like a given. Or it's like, oh,
Yeah.
them kids those age like these things, you know?
Right.
So did you get all your presents bought?
No.
Like for other people?
No.
No.
I'm not good at that part. So we'll see how last minute it goes. Yeah.
Got it. I've actually already finished my present buying.
Damn.
Yeah. I was on top of it this year. Also, you know what I find myself doing a lot come like Christmas time?
What?
Like reminiscing a lot on like the past, especially like a lot of those like old shows and stuff that used to be like that we used to watch when we were like kids. Like the old cartoons
like you
and
talking
stuff.
like Adventure Time or like younger?
Like both. You know what I'm saying? Like just whatever you watched at whatever time. Like obviously Adventure Time was like James was massively into Adventure Time. Like
Oh, I loved it. That and regular show are like my bread and butter.
regular show's amazing.
Yeah.
I think regular show is a phenomenal show. Even like if it came out now, it'd be phenomenal because of almost just like it was a weird show, and I think that weird shows have like a very important place in culture a lot of times because like people like weird stuff.
Yeah.
So regular show always have a place in my heart just because like how weird it was.
And it's like cool weird, like
Yeah.
like a coffee bean that shoots coffee out of his nipples, and like just like maybe it's not the best example, but like it was just like it was weird, but like everybody who like watched TV like at that time,
Exactly,
I
and
guess,
it
knew about it, and so I don't know.
and it was like weird, but it wasn't weird like, oh, that kid's weird. It was just unique. It was a strange
Yeah, exactly.
show.
Yeah.
So whenever I
shows.
was like a younger kid, like young enough where I was choosing what it was that I was watching, you know what I'm saying? Like that age,
Yeah.
I loved Looney Tunes. Like loved Looney Tunes. I don't know if you had like a Looney Tunes obsession like I did, but I was obsessed with it.
I remember, I remember watching the Looney Tunes enough where that when the Looney Tunes show came out, I was super excited for it, but then like immediately disappointed.
Yeah, I feel like that was a very common opinion about that particular show. Because I thought it was like made by the same people who made like the Looney Tunes. So I was like excited. I was like, yo, like my favorite show is back. Like it's coming back. And then I like watch it and I'm like, hold up. This is not it. Like was it a good show? Objectively, yes. But like that nostalgic feeling of like Looney Tunes being different than you remember was like too much. It's too much for me. I just can't handle the fact that Looney Tunes isn't the same as it once was anymore. It's the same with Tom and Jerry. Like they come out with all these movies where like Tom and Jerry's like they're like speaking now. I'm like, they didn't speak before. Like they were silent, bro. What's happening? I don't even know. It's just weird. And I feel like it's actually a very common problem that is being faced a lot in like TV and film industry right now, which is like there's no like unique ideas anymore. Like it's like everybody's just kind of re-upping like the same kind of ideas. Like they're just rebooting old movies and all this kind of stuff. And it's just kind of lame because I feel like there's so many cool, unique things that can be done in like film and TV that's just not happening because the people with the ideas aren't getting the exposure that they need to like to actually leverage their show, you know?
Okay.
But yeah, like it just, I feel like in the film and TV space, there's no new unique ideas coming out.
Oh, I agree. Like, I mean, I'm not in tune with like children's cartoons anymore. But at the point where I started growing out of them with like Uncle Grandpa and like the like Teen Titans Go, for example, those they were just like just chaos, and like the whole point of them being entertaining was that it was like, haha, look at Robin like going crazy because he can't find his cape or something dumb. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
exactly.
it did not seem like old Teen Titans or like Star Wars, the Clone Wars, like those cartoons where they actually had like drama and action.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just because we're more adult and we're kind of removed and we just, everything is kind of tinted in like a rose-colored glasses per se, because like we remember them fondly. But I'm even talking about stuff for adults, like movies and TV, like even like Marvel or whatever, who are, you know, they're pretty known throughout the industry as being at the top of their game, right? Like a top of the industry. All of their stuff is still taken from the comics.
Yeah.
Like,
for the most part, there's like certain Disney Plus shows that are new now, but like besides that.
But it just makes me wonder, like, okay, what movies are coming out that are made by like with unique scripts that we haven't seen before? Like we see all sorts of stuff where they're like rebooting old stuff, and like Fantastic Beasts, for example, is playing on the Harry Potter world. Like,
yeah,
we have more Star Wars movies coming out. They're like redoing old Disney movies with like Mulan and Little Mermaid, and it's like it just gets to a point where I'm like, okay, where's the new stuff?
Yeah, it's like whenever Disney did like the new trilogy with like Rey and like Finn and all those people and Kylo Ren, it was like at the end they still had fucking what's his name, Emperor Palpatine in the movie, and he's like, he's supposed to be dead, he's supposed to, like, nobody cares about him anymore, stop bringing him back.
Exactly.
But no, he's here and he's alive and he's been behind the whole thing the whole time. Wow. Like, just do something original, have a new villain.
Exactly. And like, if you notice, like the first of the new Star Wars movie was literally like the same plot as like A New Hope. It's like, if you know anything about inner Star Wars like lore at all, even like a minute amount, you know that the world of Star Wars has so much potential for like really, really unique stuff. And
yeah, like
to be fair,
that's a good example.
To be fair, in the movies they did show some like unique planets and unique stuff, but at the underlying layer was still, it felt like they didn't take enough risks. They just went with movies that they knew would box office well and didn't take a risk to try to make something new and unique, which I think is the problem, because all of these studios now, like these billion-dollar studios, know that they can churn, if they churn out the same movies, they'll make the same type of revenue. So you can keep putting out fairly mediocre garbage and you'll get billions of dollars. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even like necessarily even call it mediocre garbage. Like some movies for sure are mediocre garbage, but like they can even just be like average. Or like, hey, that was decent, and it's still like good enough to get 300 billion in revenue.
Exactly. Like I don't know. As a creative myself, it kind of just sucks because it's like you know, I have ideas. We have ideas of like some really cool stuff that the only way it'll ever see the light of day at this point is if we make it ourselves.
Right.
Like if we sit down and we decide that we are going to make it ourselves with the platform that we already have made and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of sad to think about like the the general distrust for like originality. Like to be a popular like new video game or new book or new movie, like you got to be super lucky that some. I don't even want to say super lucky because that sounds like it's like impossible, but like it's much easier for a company like Marvel or whatever to produce comics of like Deadpool killing the entire Marvel universe, which he's done like 5 times, instead of a new like a completely new hero with a new backstory and all this like
Yeah.
stuff, because it's safe and people will buy Deadpool. Maybe nobody will buy like Banana Man,
Banana
you
Man.
know? So
Also, but even if they did Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, that'd at least be cool. It'd at least
Oh,
be
yeah.
unique.
well, there's like 4 of
For
them,
I know
yeah.
4 movies. I meant like
Oh, I see.
obviously the comics, yes, but
Yeah, Deadpool kills the universe movie would actually be super fun to watch.
right? Like,
But I think the new Batman movie that's coming out is like, it's kind of, this is a little bit what we're talking about with like the whole changing things up, but you know, same formula of Batman, but they're making it more edgy, and they're gonna, I hope, make it like actually cool. I watched the trailer and it looks interesting and, you know, better than like Justice League and all this stuff that
yeah,
that crew has been coming out with so far.
yeah. I think my biggest thing with DC, and James can tell you, I talk about this a lot. How I would run the DCEU if I was there is, so Marvel's already kind of gotten a lock on the whole like fairly family friendly, more kid friendly superhero movies, right?
Right.
I think to stand out, the DCEU should make more adult movies. Like
Film noir movies kind of thing, where like it's
or not even like the newest Suicide Squad.
true.
That was a phenomenal movie, and it's an adult movie, but it's not adult in the sense that like everybody hates themselves and like, you know,
Yeah.
there's just like, you know, every scene everybody just hates themselves, wants to die, like that type of like weird shit, you know? It's all like, it's just an adult movie. Like, it's a movie you shouldn't take kids to. And I think that if done properly, hiring people like James Gunn, who is one of my favorite directors, because I think he's phenomenal at what he does, you'll be able to like make movies that people actually want to go to and people will enjoy while they're there. Yeah, I think that the DCEU, because right now it's so obvious that they're just trying to like copy Marvel but not doing it well.
Yeah, I think that's what this new Batman is hopefully going to turn into.
But they need to
Yeah.
like reboot it. They honestly.
Well, I mean, it is. It's like with the dude who played that one guy in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
And
No,
so
but
it's a complete.
I'm saying they need to reboot the whole DCEU. Like Wonder Woman, gone. Aquaman, gone. Like, though Jason Momoa is Aquaman, so maybe he can stay.
I liked him as Aquaman. Yeah, I like it better than like the goofy, like blonde, like Boy Scout guy that Aquaman was for a while. in the
Yeah, because
comics.
everybody always made fun of that Aquaman.
Yeah,
Because he's
He was,
kind of
like,
lame.
He's like all he does is talk to fish and like control water.
The new Spider-Man movie that's coming out is about to be a turning point for Marvel, because even though they've been making like decent movies after Endgame, none of them have really had a lot of people like freaking out about them, you know? There hasn't been as
like,
much public
Eternals
appeal.
Was really bad. Not really bad. It was really bad in terms of a Marvel movie, which I guess now I should say is really bad because they have the potential to be good.
Yeah,
They know how to make good movies. So
Exactly.
my expectation for them is high.
as it should be, as it should be.
Yeah. I'm allowed to expect, you know, this big fucking company to whatever it's called to perform to my expectations.
Because you know they can. Like,
So,
it's not like...
with that like flop, the Spider-Man movie really has to be like a good hitter that makes everybody like wet.
I don't know, because it's Spider-Man. Like, it's Spider-Man. You know? Like, it's...
Yeah, but That's fair. That's fair.
Even if it's a bad movie, it's gonna sell out
Oh yeah.
because it's
Well,
Spider-Man.
and Tom Holland, like
Exactly.
it could be like Tom Holland is only in the movie for 20 seconds, and everybody still buy the fuck out of them tickets.
I don't know. That would personally piss me off. Like, so you're telling me Spider-Man is only in Spider-Man for like something ain't adding up here.
Like, where my homie at?
Yeah, exactly. Where the bro at? What's with the idea of just making movies out of things that was once popular in a hope of like capitalizing on its popularity? Like they're like, oh, let's make an Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. Why? Why?
Yeah.
And
if
live
if
action?
if
Live
it's
action.
Like a Avatar: Last Airbender movie, I want it to be new information. I want to see like him as adult with Zuko and Sokka just doing adult things. Like I don't want
Yeah.
to see his origins. I can watch the
Or maybe
amazing
like
Netflix TV show.
what happens in between the ending of Avatar: The Last Airbender and the beginning of Korra. Like maybe just set a movie in that time period.
Well, yeah. Because I think the Avatar like dies and like a couple years go by before the new Avatar is born or something.
No,
So,
because Aang is alive in Korra, isn't he?
No, he dies.
Oh, does
He's
he?
dead.
Because
Yeah,
I thought
'cause
the
there-
Avatar
there can only
usually
be one
lives
Avatar.
long enough to teach the new Avatar something.
No, it's like a spirit thing.
Got
like
it.
they teach him in like the spirit realm or something.
But it's like still, like we could get something in there.
The yeah, show me like new stuff, new plot, new like conflicts.
Yeah.
Because like Korra was really cool, and it wasn't just Aang as like as a kid, you know, they weren't just milking that thing.
Yeah. I would like to see what happens after the Fire Lord's defeated. I think that could be really interesting.
Yeah. Because like, you know, Aang had a lot of work to do, and obviously didn't make it perfect because Korra had to fix stuff too. But like, let's see that work he did, and
Exactly. And let's just tell a new story. Like that's if they I'm not even saying I want that. I'm just saying if they made a movie, a feature-length film, that's what I would want it to be. But I'd want it to be the same animation styles, like the same feel
yeah,
as Avatar. I don't think that's asking too much.
no, not at all. And like animated movies are like still like super high quality movies. Like
Exactly.
like there's classics that are, you know, like studied by film researchers.
Even
and stuff like
Avatar
that.
is studied in film schools
Yeah,
because they
good reason.
they study it in film schools to teach people how to write an antagonist, aka Zuko.
Yeah. Or like a redeemable antagonist, and then like
Yeah,
a redeemable
yeah,
antagonist of like
it's how-
Fire Lords.
Or how to write a redemption arc.
Yeah.
Like
Or yeah, like an antagonist that is people like are rooting for. Kind of in the
Exactly.
background. Like you don't just hate this guy; he's also like cool.
exactly. And so that's what I would want if they made a movie about it. But to be completely honest, I want it to be left alone. Leave it. We have Avatar. We have Korra. We don't need anything else. I'm fine. I'm full up.
Yeah. Like if I wanted my Avatar fix, I would just read the comics that were made, because there's like a lot more Avatar lore,
Exactly.
with Aang especially in the comics. So like,
I
let
just-
me just read those.
I think that a big thing that happens is a lot of people don't understand when it's time to let go.
Oh, a very good example of this is like the Flash CW series.
Yes.
Oh God.
It's still going. Like the people just need to understand, okay, it's time for this show to end.
Yeah.
And like I feel like too often shows will just continue like until they get like canceled or just not put on the air. But it's like, no, give your show a real ending and end it. It's time to end it. It's gone on for too long.
Yeah. Yeah. Create like an arc or like a whole chapter. Like this is what we want to cover. and then whenever it's done, just stop.
It's why I like Breaking Bad so much, because I felt like they did it perfectly. They made an ending, and it was at the top of its, like, in terms of, like, views or whatever, like, numbers, like, they were still doing amazing when the show ended. But they were like, it's time for it to end. And so they ended it.
Yeah. There are a few examples of shows doing that, and it's really nice to see them. And then and then there's like Lost. Oh no, I mean no, maybe Lost. I didn't watch it, so I can't say. But it was a very long show. Like like Grey's Anatomy and stuff. Like I'm so surprised that that's still going on.
It's like, just end it. It's time for it to go. Like, let's pursue. This is what I'm talking about. There's no new stuff coming out. Let's pursue new ideas. Let's pursue new avenues. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it's like hard, and I get that. Like, how do we come up with new ideas? Everything's been done before, but like that's what you got. You got to be creative, man.
everything has not been done before.
Well, yeah, I mean that's. Just
And I know, I'm just saying, I'm like just saying that blatantly. Like, not everything's been done before. Just because you make a new action movie that feels a lot like John Wick, if you make it unique enough, it's still a new movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
you can make movies of genres that have been explored before. Like, there's good action movies that come out, like John Wick. Action was a genre before John Wick existed, but it did something a little different.
Yeah.
In terms of its story was really done well. It literally, all John Wick did was, like, the people who made it actually cared about it.
And that's really all it takes, surprisingly.
Yeah. If you as a creator actually, like, give a fuck about your creation, you'd be surprised how, like, you can actually make something unique.
It's just like something that people that have creative minds notice, and then like we have to rant about it.
Yeah, I ran about it. Me and James and Ryan probably talk about this like once every every other time we hang out.
Yeah,
it's a topic of conversation because it just makes all of us very upset. What was your least favorite show growing up that like everybody else or like your siblings like really liked but you hated?
I can say my sisters and my mom really liked the TV show Gilmore Girls, and I hated that. It was so boring. And
Got
so
it.
They'd watch it, I would leave. But like something that everybody liked,
or not even something that you hated, but something that you just never really like cared for. Like, it wasn't your thing, but everybody else loved it, you know?
I'm trying to think. How about you go first, and then I'll see.
All right. My most controversial one is probably Adventure Time. I just never. It was never like. I just never really got into it. That and The Flash.
Oh, okay.
And that's mostly because I hung out with you and Ryan, who loved both of them.
Oh yeah. I loved The Flash for like 2 years, but I loved Adventure Time, and I still do for like ever. But yeah, The Flash, man. Me and Ryan were obsessed whenever it first came out, because he was like one of our favorite heroes, and we were like, oh my god, there's a TV show.
And I didn't like it. I watched Arrow when it first came out, and I liked Arrow a lot because he was not a good person. That's what I liked about it. Like, he did bad things, but for like the greater good. And as like a younger kid, I loved that idea. But then they screwed it up by like trying to make him like Batman, where he's like, I refuse to kill anybody, bleh.
Yeah.
And it's like, you've already set up that he's some like, he's a hero with like a past that still haunts him and bladdy bladdy bladdy. It's like, don't screw this up now. Like, you've already established this as like a thing. So like, why are you going back on it now?
I think you'd like The Punisher. Then I think it's still on Netflix. And it's about the same thing. This guy like goes off to war, and he does like crazy bad things, and he's a super like epic soldier guy. And then he comes back, and then he like murders a bunch of mafia members who like killed his family and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
he stays murdering like the whole time, basically. So
Yeah. I like that, because it's like, I feel like people don't write like anti-heroes very well. Like, yes, we're supposed to root for the Arrow, but at the same time, you're not supposed to believe that he's like a saint.
Right. Unless like unless for some reason you have like the same twisted like view of justice as he does.
Exactly.
But like if you're like a normal citizen, then you're not like, well, this guy, he's doing good.
You're like, yes, he's doing good things, but the way he's going about it, not great.
Yeah, and it's also cool because like you said, he's kind of doing good. So you like see him like cutting the throats of like these like evil like sex trafficker people, and you're like, oh, if I could do that, I totally would. And this guy gets to do it. That's awesome, like kind of thing. And you can like revel in the fact that he's breaking the law and like murdering these people because they deserve like all the pain and suffering.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like, you know, legal or good.
Sex traffickers definitely do.
Yeah.
But it's also just like, it's unique. Because so often the trope is like, oh, the good guy is like a good guy in every way. You know?
Yeah.
It's also why I like the idea of Spider-Man, because it's like, this dude is broke. Like, just because he's a hero and he's
a high schooler.
Yeah, just because he's, well, even when he's outside of high school, it's like, you know, just because he's like a hero that does really well in that field doesn't mean he's good at life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun to see. It's fun to see the humanity and like the struggles and stuff. That
Yeah, exactly.
You know, heroes
and
go
too
through.
often we just get consumed in the idea that our heroes are perfect, are like idols. The people we look up to are like perfect beings. And I feel like on some level this might get a bit preachy, but it's a bit unhealthy. Because like, how are you supposed to feel good about your flaws whenever the people we look up to and the people we watch in media and stuff are like perfect in every way?
Yeah.
And how can
definitely.
a character be as compelling if they don't have personal character struggle?
Spoiler: they can't.
Yeah, there, at least to me,
Have a
it's
relatability and stuff.
exactly. And even though, yeah, I can't relate to somebody who was like abandoned on an island for 5 years and like tortured and forced to do horrible things, but like a lot of people can understand the idea of like your past haunting you and like affecting how you act and everything in the present. Like that's a very relatable topic. So yeah, I just feel like their idea to like patch back on that and make him basically like even more like Batman than he was before was a bad decision that ruined the show.
Yeah, and it's weird because it feels like they backtrack because like Green Arrow and like the comics and stuff isn't like super edgy all the time.
Yeah, so it was like they did something
wanted
unique, and then they
did something
backtracked
new,
on the
and
uniqueness.
they wanted to like be more realistic or whatever. And I don't know, it's just like, it's also cool because, or would have been cool because, you know, they did like CW crossovers where like the Flash would be in an episode of Arrow. Like it would have been really cool to have the Flash be like, whoa, dude, freaking killing, and then Arrow's like, yeah, dude, and he just like stabs some like bad guy. He's like, deal with it, and then there's like conflict there.
Yeah,
But instead it was like, oh hey, best friend Barry.
exactly. It was, yeah, it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and I feel like the CW and their use of the DC shows has been poor.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
know if that's a controversial take or not, but I don't really care.
Of all the DC shows I've watched, I've finished none of them.
True. The worst one was DC Legends of Tomorrow, which
God,
has an amazing, like, put me in the writer's room. Like, the idea for it is literally so amazing. All I want to do is see these group of really interesting future people go back in time.
Yeah.
I don't need to see all this extra stuff, like, of them going through time. That doesn't matter as much to me, and it's boring. It's honestly boring. Like,
Yeah, it became like a drama TV show instead of like an action like save the timeline thing.
yeah, like, I felt like an action comedy would, like, have killed for it. Like, if you gave freaking James Gunn that to work with, it would be amazing. It would be a classic piece of media that was created.
Yeah.
But instead, we got a trash show that was only good because of one character, which was Captain Cold. And as soon as, spoiler alert, he died, the show got a lot more boring. And I stopped watching it after that. Because I was like, oh, the only good character's gone? Well, sounds like a waste of my time to keep watching this show.
Like literally my thoughts exactly. And maybe like the thing we're missing is that it was supposed to be like a drama the whole time, and and people who are into like drama, reality, not even reality TV show, like a soap opera almost TV shows would like it, but it like it's a superhero show.
It's a superhero show.
It-
You
it's a
have to know. I
superhero.
feel, and there's a reason why that show never did really well. It's because they ignored or just didn't understand their target audience. It's so important whenever you're marketing something or creating something to like display to the public that you understand the audience that you're marketing to.
Oh yeah.
Like, don't market like a space soap opera or whatever to some people that don't want a drama. We've been so conditioned on like superhero movies because most of the people that watch that probably watched Marvel, and even though they had dramatic elements in Marvel movies, the action was always at the forefront. And I never
it
felt
was,
like in DC
well-written
Legends.
drama. It wasn't
True.
like teenager drama of like, oh my god, what is Flamehead thinking about me right now? Like I used a staff and I accidentally hit him in the head. Like, oh my god. It's just, like,
Exactly.
that's how like inconsequential those like issues felt.
Exactly.
Instead of like, the sake of the timeline is at stake. We need to do this in 2 minutes, or else all of the
And
world
like
will explode.
they also screwed up the timeline so many times that like whenever they screwed up the timeline, I stopped caring that they screwed up the timeline because it's like,
yeah, every episode. Oh fuck.
so I think a big problem with a lot of TV is if you in every episode, if you have some world-ending disaster happen, it's not going to hit as much whenever something real happens because we're like, okay, there's 12 episodes in this season, and episode 2 you're threatening the world's going to end. For some reason,
Yeah.
I don't like what needs to happen in a TV show is you need to have small threats, and you win some, you lose some, and they build into the big season-ending threat.
And it's kind of like the whole idea of like the red shirt guy and like Star Trek and stuff, where like you show that something is like intense and dangerous by like killing members off that like aren't, pivotal to the plot. So like if the spaceship of like the Legend of Tomorrow had like, crew members that weren't just the main characters, you could like have people be like dying, and like kind of like in like Grey's Anatomy where they kill off like side doctors or whatever, like have like decently important characters die, and like
Yeah.
people are like, oh shit, that's
Hell,
bad.
pull a Game of Thrones. Have some main characters die. Do
Yeah.
it. Do it. They did it
Just
with
not,
Captain
you know,
Cold.
just
not the fan
coolest
favorite.
one.
Just not the reason that most people watch the show.
Yeah, not the only guy that actually makes the show worth anything.
I feel like a lot of shows that are coming out like on cable TV kind of poor. This is why people are going to streaming services.
Well, I haven't even heard of shows coming out on cable TV, so that shows how bad they are. Like I'd say I'm like not as in tune with TV as like some people. It's like I just watch streaming stuff.
Yeah.
But if I haven't heard of anything, that just means like you're not doing a good job advertising
True.
or being popular.
And like if you get like a Netflix subscription, like there's shows like I saw a cooking show on Netflix the other day. Like I literally watched it with the person I was hanging out with. We watched the whole thing in like 2 days, and it's literally a show where they cook food with weed in it. It's like a cooking show, like a competition cooking show. Whoever wins gets $10,000. And they basically cook food, like a 3-course meal with weed in it, and these judges like try it and see who makes the best weed food. And they're making like professional restaurant level food using like weed oil and stuff.
That's super cool, actually.
Like, why would I watch DC Legends of Tomorrow when that absolute gem of content exists? Or also on Netflix, they have a tattoo cover-up show where it's like you have a bad tattoo and you go in to get a cover-up from these like professional tattoo artists, and you're supposed to bring somebody with you, and the twist is that the person you bring with you chooses your tattoo cover-up.
Oh shit!
Like
Does
that's
the person know?
No. Well, the person knows, like, they get told that their friend or their boyfriend or their girlfriend or their husband or whatever are going to choose the cover up, but they don't know what it's going to be until it's tatted on their body.
Oh,
or at least that's
God.
what the show says. They could be lying, but it's like, or like, have you heard of the show? What's it called? It's called Nailed It on Netflix. It's another cooking show. This one's
I think I've
hilarious.
heard of it.
It's like a baking show, but they get people who don't know how to bake on it,
Oh yeah.
and
I
they
have heard
try
of
to
it.
make these like professional baking creations, and it's hilarious because these people can like barely make box cupcakes like normal people, right? And they're expected to like make like cake sculptures and stuff.
Yeah, they probably have judges who are like very refined and like
They do.
good at. Yeah, that's amazing.
So it's like, why would I watch this trash DC Legends of Tomorrow TV show whenever this gem of content exists? That's honestly more enjoyable.
Well, sorry, what's the name of the weed show?
Oh, it's called Get Cooked.
Get Cooked. Nice.
Yeah. There's one of the judges is this dude whose honest to God first name is Leather. Like his name is like, how did his mom must have been in pain on the way out. 'Cause she's like, this feels like leather.
Yeah, we should meet Sandpaper's mom.
That's literally what I was thinking. I was thinking the exact same joke. Yeah, cable's like, again, you have to know who you're going to market to. Right? Like, if you are making a show on cable TV, it should be for older people. If you are making a show that's supposed to target the younger audience, you should be putting it on a streaming service.
Yeah.
You should be putting it on Netflix. Pretty much. Or like Disney Plus.
Yeah, those are like the two best to go to, honestly.
Yeah. Because that's where you'll get people actually watching it. Like, nobody our age watches cable TV. Like, the only time
Yeah,
I
I
ever
guess
watch
only
cable TV
old
is with my
people do.
parents.
Yeah, exactly. Old people.
Exactly. All right, guys, that's the end of the podcast. I know we're still going on here, but, like, it's time to end the podcast. All right, thank you. Oh, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm your host, Aaron, here with my co-host, James. Say goodbye, James.
Goodbye. See you guys later.
See ya.